Hello, my name is Brosnan.
Hi, my name is Kevin.
Hello, my name is Kevin.
And I'm Sean, and our poet is Kathy Song.
Kathy Song!
Yay!
Woo! So this right here is Kathy Song, and she was born in Honolulu, Hawaii on August 20th, 1955. And she had a Korean father and a Chinese mother, which allowed her to draw from both the Korean and Chinese cultures. She was also able to write about her being an American and also a woman. So she grew up in Waiahu, Oahu, and she also traveled a lot with her father because her father was an airline pilot. And from these travels, she gained a lot of inspiration for writing. And she pursued writing in high school and also pursued it in college, where she gained a bachelor's in English in Wellesley College and then later a master's in creative writing from Boston University. And while in Boston, she met a guy named Douglas Davenport, and she would later marry this guy. And she now lives in Honolulu and teaches creative writing in several universities. Being born in the mid-1900s, her poems were pretty modern and contemporary. So she wrote about stuff such as family values, family ties to the community, family ties to tradition, and family and parent-child relationships. And she was also able to write about womanhood and coming to age. Her first collection of poems were called Picture Bride, and this won her the 1982 Yale Series of Younger Poets Award. And she will go on and create 2 more anthologies, which would help her win the Hawaiian Award for Literature and also the Shelley Memorial Award. So that's Kathy Song. To prepare the body, aim for the translucent perfection you find in the sliced shavings of a pickled turnip. In order for this to happen, you must avoid the sun, protect the face under a paper parasol until it is bruised white, like the skin of lilies. Use white soap from a blue porcelain dish for this. Restrict yourself. Eat the white of things, tender bamboo shoots, the veins of the young iris, the clouded eye of a fish. Then wrap the body as if it were a perfumed gift in pieces of silk held together with invisible threads like a kite, weighing no more than a handful of crushed chrysanthemums, light enough to float in the wind. You want the effect of koi moving through water. When the light leaves the room, twist lilacs into the lacquered hair, piled high like a complicated shrine. There should be tiny bells inserted somewhere in the web of hair to imitate crickets singing in a hidden grove. Reveal the nape of the neck, your beauty spot. Hold the arrangement. If your spine slacks and you feel faint, remember the hand-picked flower set in the front alcove which, just this morning, you so skillfully wired into place. How poised it is! Petal and leaf, curving like a fan, the stem snipped and wedged into the metal base, to appear like a spontaneous accident.
I'll be paraphrasing Ikebana. From lines 1 through 4, to look pretty, make your skin shiny like pickled turnip. From lines 5 to 9, avoid the suns under an umbrella to make your skin gloss white. From lines 11 to 13, use soap as well. Line 14, restrict yourself from eating things that may harm your body. Lines 15 to 18, eat the parts of the food that are white, such as bamboo shoots, the veins of an iris, or the eye of a fish. Lines 19 to 24, dress in silk that is in threads like a kite and weighs less than crushed chrysanthemums. Line 25, light enough to float like the wind. Lines 26 to 27, the sip should move like koi in water. Lines 28 to 31, when lights turn off, put flowers into your hair like a beautiful shrine. Lines 32 to 36, put bells in your hair to sound like crickets singing. Lines 37 to 38, show the beauty of your neck. Line 39, keep a good posture. Lines 40 to 45. If you start to lose your posture, remember the flower you straighten in the morning. Line 46, how pretty it is. Line 47 to 41, when you lose posture, you look like you don't look nice.
I will be paraphrasing Heaven by Kathy Song. Lines 1 to 5. Kathy presents an immediate idea of what the poem is going to be about. Her son, whose hair is from his father's, thinks that when we die, we go to China. And this makes Kathy pause at the idea of a Chinese heaven. Lines 6 to 10. Kathy furthers the idea of China, mentioning how far it is and how that distance, or an octave, would ever make that visit occur to her son. Lines 11 to 12. Kathy has never been to China before. Lines 13 to 18. Kathy describes where her family lives. Lines 19 to 23. They live a mile above sea, with no bamboo trees encompassing their home. The alpine trees are also nowhere to be seen, and light is seen only through the reedy aspen with fluttering leaves. Lines 24 to 25. Kathy questions her son if he dreamt of the idea of going to China after death in Guangzhou. Lines 26 to 32. Auditory imagery is presented in the previous night, where Kathy hears a train whistling through past all of her property that she owns, including broken fences, rattle-trap cars, and her whiny dog. Her home is in the Wild West, too, where shootouts and fistfights can be seen and heard. Lines 33 to 38. Kathy questions why her family lives where they live. Lines 39 to 42. The grandfather, who helped build the railroads, had always planned to go back to China. In lines 43 to 49, he realizes that each track he places down furthers himself away, and he accepts the fate of dying before going back. Lines 50 to 53. Kathy suggests that the notion of returning must run in the blood of the family. Lines 54 to 56. Any spring day reminds them of their grandfather. Lines 57 to 63. She tells her son that he has to work hard before seeing heaven.
The speaker of the poem, Heaven, is Kathy Song herself. In this poem, she is a mother as she mentions her son, the dreamer, and her daughter, who is too young to walk. She is also an Asian American, as she is alluding to her past generations and how she had come to be here in America. In this poem, she questions her son's interest in a Chinese heaven. This makes her contemplate her origins, starting from her grandfather, who came to America to work on the railroads. He would later stay because of the Gold Mountain, better known to the Chinese people as Gansan. The setting of this poem is in America, probably in Colorado, where she and her husband moved to. It is also known as east of the Rockies. She also alludes to her grandfather, who came from Guangzhou. The time shifts from present to past history about the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad and the Gold Rush. The central idea of the poem is the importance of identity and origin. Song's son is beginning to become interested in his ethnicity, and this triggers Song to think about herself and how did she, an Asian person, come to be here in America. A significant shift in the poem is from stanza 3 to stanza 4. The first 3 stanzas are in present time, but the fourth switches to the story of a boy who came from Guangzhou. From stanza 4 to 5, it returns back to the present time. Song carefully chooses her words to express and describe things accurately. For example, she uses color, giving China blue and America black. This use of blue is seen again in her description of the mountains that she equates to heaven. Song uses visual and auditory imagery as she describes China as that blue flower on the map and her own place of residence as this black dot. This imagery is meant to highlight the beauty of China while showing us the dullness of her place in America. She also uses auditory imagery such as the trains whistling past her yard, broken fences, the whining dog, and the rattle-trap cars she hears outside of her yard. This paints the image of the stereotypical Wild West which doesn't paint a beautiful or peaceful image in the mind of the readers. One type of figurative language that is used is a simile. Song explains that her son's hand must span like a bridge to reach it. The it being China on the map from where they are. This simile is appropriate as it 1. Reveals the innocence of her son as his hand is as tiny and curious. 2. To compare it to a bridge makes sense as he is making a connection between the West and China, as he is questioning the two identities that he was born with. He is linked to both America and China in terms of race and culture, so this bridge that he is creating is representative of his own connection to the two ethnicities. Heaven itself will be a symbol presented in this poem. It constantly is compared to China, meaning that China is a place of peace, immense beauty, and good. The Gold Mountain is another symbol. For the Chinese people, it is a symbol of good fortune and the prospects of striking it rich. However, to Song, the Gold Mountain was a sort of trap that lured these people in and would go on to create these ghost towns. There is an obvious historical allusion to America in the mid-1800s when Chinese people immigrated to America in large numbers to work on the Transcontinental Railroad and to strike it rich in the gold mines of California. This allusion is significant because it is what ties Cathy Song and her son to this land, but it also is what ties her to her motherland back in China, even though she has never been there before. This historical allusion is important for her to discover her origin.